Hello, everybody. My name is RODGON. I am an artist. I am a designer. I'm a cartoonist. I'm an illustrator. I have done work for a lot of places, including Marvel now. And I am your instructor today. Hello, everybody. So recently, we have been drawing a lot of the face. We've been structuring a lot of the classes alongside drawing the face and learning how to draw the face really easy, right? I have been teaching you guys all the measurements that you need to really know to be able to map out your faces and your necks and the upper body a little bit easier. If you have never watched any of my streams before, please go watch some of the face streams and you guys will, the rule of threes or the RODGON method will help you guys understand a lot of the stuff that we normally do. And then we also spent the day drawing perspective and teaching you guys the concept of perspective through more easy ways of understanding this, right? More comprehensive ways. Instead of the horizon line, just explaining to you guys what happens when you move the lines, what happens when you actually put elements in front of each other, and how you can use a simple box to be able to generate an entire scene in a much easier way. And drawing things in perspective is just a matter of drawing boxes in different directions and then understanding how to connect them. So then I also talked to you guys about foliage and how to draw plants and how to draw elements like grass and trees. And I told you guys that one of my biggest inspirations was Mr. Bill Watterson. And then we continued on the day to draw some pinups, draw some of my little character Vicky, and drawing a little red panda with her because we just kept on drawing red pandas. So I think the combination of characters is really cute, and I think I will continue doing that because it just looks really cool. All right, so yeah, we've been drawing a lot lately, a lot. So today, I figured we should break away from the actual structure of cute stuff and start going into an understanding of something different. Don't know yet what, but let's see. Let's just start drawing and something will come up. Let's start with warm-up exercises, okay? So warm-up exercises are going to be really important if you guys want to actually progress with your skills. Now, we will begin our lesson like we always do once we get to 2K likes. We will begin our actual lesson, but until then, I'm gonna give you guys some little warm-up exercises. I like to warm up with circles. Why with circles? Because circles are essentially the one thing that I see everything as. Whenever I see characters, I see bean bags, which are two circles together. When I see arms, I see two ovals that go into more ovals and more ovals and more ovals, creating things like fingers. I see things a little different than other people. I know how to explain it in many, many ways, right? I know how to explain these things so that you guys understand them with boxes and sushis and all that stuff. But in my brain, everything is a beanbag. I learned through cartooning and I learned through an understanding of that like art style. So everything to me is just a beanbag. Me creating beanbags in different directions allows me to be able to draw elements that this is a beanbag again. Boom, boom. That connection's a beanbag. That connection's a beanbag. The connection between the wrist and the hand is a beanbag. Okay? And then you stretch that out, and this becomes a beanbag. And then this connects to the body, which is also a beanbag. And then being able to understand that every body part, to me at least, is a beanbag, and every connecting point becomes one, is what allows me to be able to move that shape around in countless positions and be able to make all my little elements like stories and concepts and ideas come to life really easy because even the face is a beanbag. Okay, so you can see everything like your master shape. Oh, maybe that's what we could talk about. Master shapes. You probably don't really understand what a master shape is if you just started drawing. And you probably don't really understand what a master shape is if you have been drawing, because you probably have never been told about master shapes. We all have them. We all have them. So it's not like it's going to be a new concept to you. It's just a matter of understanding what your master shape is. Imagine that you are like in the Harry Potter houses, right? And there's going to be 4 sections of the houses. 4 factions. So a lot of people don't understand what faction they're in, and therefore they don't understand how to learn and how to adapt their learning style to that. So let me talk to you guys about the factions that I have thought of that normally break down people into different categories. You have the cartoonists at nature, right? The cartoon people in nature, they see things with outlines. They see things as big, exaggerated shapes. They see things that are very rubbery, cartoony, and very loose. In this house, you have a lot of animators, storyboard artists, caricature artists, and everything that involves cartooning in general. Web comics, everything that's not necessarily realistic, but you can still tell a massive story with. That is cartoony world or cartoony house, cartoon house. There you go. You can call that house cartoon world or whatever. The other house is realism world, right? Where people want to get just the exact copy of a thing in real life. They hyper fixate on reality and the copying of reality. They want to be able to replicate instead of necessarily create from their imagination. They want to be able to be the best fine artist, the best painter, the best everything in the world. And that is more like a reality-based thing, so we'll call it reality house. So cartoon house, reality house. Then we have other ones. We have one that kind of spawns off of the cartoon world, but it's not necessarily that, and it's iconic world. Iconic world is when people just see things like icons. They don't necessarily know how to draw complicated things, but they see things like icons, like emoticons. They see things for stickers. They see things for little like creatures. Like they don't necessarily have any sort of massive illustration backset to it, you know, like you would need like the ones from here. And maybe we should change this not from cartoon because that's too generalized. So maybe we will call this motion land. Because essentially what you're doing is you're telling motion with anything that has movement. Cartoons have movement, storyboards have movement. Anything that you really have as a cartoon should be giving you a sense of movement, even if it is the most simple structure. Okay? So we can call it movement world, movement land. This one can be icon land. Yeah, or icon room. Whatever, we'll figure out a way to call them. And then the last one, this one, is what I like to call the Hufflepuff of houses, and this is where I reside in. And this is intellectual land, where it doesn't matter if you're trying to aim for realism, you're not trying to aim for anything in particular. You just want to create. And you learn every technique just so that you can have a variety of skills, like a skill set, like a skill tree, and you base everything off your intellect. You base everything off your knowledge, you base everything off that, not your style, not a idealistic way of finishing, but no, you are a more well-rounded artist that understands that all this conveys into one single thing, and that is your ability to draw in many different things so that you will be a much more valuable artist. Because art is not necessarily just for the love of it. You need to be able to make money if you want to make a living with it. And the more that you understand each one of these houses, the more money you can create because you're going to be more valuable as an artist. So if you're constantly saying, oh, I don't want to do realism, get over it. Go learn some stuff. Don't be a child. If you don't understand anything about simplification, go learn it Get over it. Stop being a child. If you don't understand perspective and volume and all those lessons because they're hard and they're annoying and they're boring, get over it. Go learn it. Stop being a child. If this is a career that you're trying to make this a career, right? Then you need to stop thinking like it's just a hobby. You have to actually take all the things in that you want to learn. If you don't spend your time drawing cylinders, you can't draw things in perspective. If you don't spend your time drawing foreshortened elements, you can't draw things coming towards you and away from you. If you don't spend your time observing people in real life, you can't simplify them to the point of absurdity to be able to tell stories really quickly. Okay? If you don't have these skills, but you want to be one of those people that tell all these cool stories, then you have to actually acknowledge that maybe you're missing a couple things in your skill set. Okay? And if that is drawing things in public, if that means perspective, if that means structure, composition, sizing, placement, color theory, whatever it is that you are missing, do the crap that's hard. Do the stuff that you're missing. Do the stuff that you haven't mastered yet so that you can actually get better and stop just doing the same thing that you're already good at a million times over. Like, you already mastered that for the most part, right? When you're already good at something, you move on to something that's difficult. You don't go on and do more easy shit. The pen is just a big pen. It's not anything special. You can grab those. You can grab any ballpoint pen, really. It doesn't matter. You can steal the ones from the hotels if you want. The pen doesn't matter. It's not about the pen. Okay? So you can grab the most cheap materials that you guys can think of. You should be able to draw because it's just something that marks. If you have something that has the ability to leave a mark, you have the ability to draw something from your brain. That is our little baby superpower. We have a little baby superpower inside of us. And that is the ability to make things beautiful by just drawing things on it. By allowing our brains to explode with a pen, we have the ability to make someone or something beautiful. You just need to learn how to quantify the thoughts in your head and be able to make them into thoughts that look cool. And that comes with practice. That comes with understanding. And it doesn't always come with copying other people's art. So remember that copying someone else gives you the power for a little bit, but understanding it gives you the power forever. Okay? You can carry on a whole career by copying other people up until you catch up to them. And then you're kind of stuck because you don't know how to progress because you've never taken any of the knowledge in that they did. So you're going to find yourself in a position where you're going to get to a really cool spot that wasn't earned by you necessarily completely. And then you're going to feel, oh, shit. Well, now I have to actually step up. What do I do? And then if you find yourself going, well, I need reference from this other person, then guess what? They might as well just have given that opportunity to that person. And how can you feel real pride, you know? At the end of the day, you have to feel pride about what you do. And if you are not necessarily a person that cares about that stuff, great, fantastic. Hey, man, carry on. That's fantastic. But, you know, I didn't come onto the art scene. I didn't come into the world of art to not be seen for me. I'm too arrogant for that. I'm way too arrogant to not be acknowledged for my skills, for my knowledge, for my abilities. And God forbid I give that to somebody else because I just use their style. You know? It's, I don't know, it's a give and take. If you copy somebody else's stuff and you like their things and you get inspired by them, that's fantastic. But if you start using all their poses, all their line work, all their things, all their like little things, and you don't implement any of your knowledge into it, then you're just a copycat. And it's perfectly fine. It's another way to make a living off of this. But it's just, in my brain, it's just kind of like anybody that has any semblance of understanding of styles will just immediately understand what you did. Like, it's not like you're fooling anybody. But it's another way to be able to make a living, I guess. And it would be far off for me to not be able to explain it to you guys as well, because that is also something that people do in art. I might not be up for it, but it's something that people do, and it's an option that you guys have. So immoral or whatever, that's completely based on the individual. I used to work at a production company, a t-shirt company, that used to do that kind of stuff. They used to tell you, hey, this is popular, make 100 designs based on this. And then you would go ahead and do it. You would choose the ones that look good, refine them so that you can't get sued, and then you would set them out for design print. That is what you would do. And a lot of places that work with t-shirt designs, especially generic designs, do that. Because the demand for popular things is very, 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 very high, and it's also the easiest way to be able to know that your product is going to sell. So it doesn't matter, really, to the people that are doing it. And most of the designers that go hop on doing that as well, it's incredibly interesting and fun. It is fun when you don't have to think about it and just implement a little bit of your creativity to somebody else's idea. It's incredibly fun. It's incredibly easy. But again, it's kind of like borderline, like it hits you in the ego, you know? You're like, oh, well, I wish that I could have been the person that came up with the original idea, blah, 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 blah. And then if you get some sort of notoriety for that, you're like, oh, but it's not really mine. And then other people are going to be like, oh, well, you stole that design from someone. And then all your good, hard-earned work that you spent is not going to feel very, very good. You're just going to feel like, oh, man, instead of people praising me, I'm getting shit on because I'm not doing anything, even though I didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to just understand that we are egotistical creatures. We like knowing that our stuff is ours. We like being praised for doing the things that we are good at. We are ego-driven human beings. We are artists. Oh, yeah. Oh, people take original ideas all the time. There is a concept said, good artists borrow, great artists steal. And that is a thing that is said mostly because that happens quite a bit. And that is related, in my opinion, the way that I see that, it's more related to skills. Okay? So a good artist borrows skills. So if a good artist may borrow the ability to copy a style, right? They might be able to see an eye and be like, okay, this eye is kind of like this line, and you thicken it up, and yeah, okay, cool. Kind of close to it, but not quite. Okay, cool. So a good artist copies, borrows. If you see an artist draw another eye in a different direction, ooh, now I can draw that eye in a different direction, but you copy the thing. You're not really understanding it, so it's never going to be 100% the same. Now, a great artist steals. What does that mean? A great artist breaks down exactly how you designed that thing based on the actual anatomy behind it. And I, as an artist that can do that, I can recreate that eye in every single position, angle, shape, pose, everything. So if you show me a piece of art I can copy that and steal your design if I wanted to. I could steal your thought process. I could. And that's what a great artist can do. That's why animators are some of the most, what I believe, animators, they have to replicate styles constantly and add movement to things. So to me, in my opinion, animators are one of the most versatile and complete artists out there, out of everybody. They can illustrate, they can move, they can do graphic design, they can do composition, they can do all that stuff. So great artists steal. Good artists borrow. See what I mean? That's how I see it. And it's a great saying too. I actually love it. Because it gets people talking. I'm very hypervigilant and I can hear the genius in you. Aw, well, that is really, very sweet of you. I would not consider myself a genius in the slightest. I'm just a person that is obsessive. I'm incredibly obsessive about the things that I love. And I just happen to really enjoy teaching the act of art. The drawing, the conceptualizing, the thought process, teaching you about how to build things in your library of your mental imagery and stuff like that. Being able to explain to you the things that you don't know yet, right? The things that you haven't really discovered yet, the things that you maybe haven't really seen because it's obstructed by your love for something else. All those things, those tiny click moments that you guys get from me, those are things that I have gotten myself at every stage, and I just try to pass that on to you guys. Because it doesn't have to be hard. It just gets explained incredibly difficult to most people. Most people don't understand little tiny correlations between their body, like little tiny connect the dots. And if you learn those connect the dots, you are able to draw things that you never thought you could. In ways that you never thought you could. And the simplicity of it becomes incredibly apparent once you start learning the basic structure of things. And again, things like faces and stuff like that aren't very difficult. You can start with a box. A box, split it in 4. These 2 parts in the bottom, draw a little hourglass and draw a circle. That middle of that hourglass is going to be where your eye goes. The little triangle, that's the beginning of your nose. That little triangle as well, if you bring it down, a little teardrop that matches roughly the middle of your eye, that's where your mouth is going to be. Your chin, you can choose to put it at the bottom. Your ear is going to match the bottom of that box, and then you're going to close it off with whatever type of jaw structure you want. A circle at the side gives you depth. And if you want to draw something 3/4, all you got to do is thin out the box a little bit and add a little bit wider circle. And you have yourself 3/4 views. It's not incredibly difficult. It's just normally explained in a terrifyingly difficult way. So if you guys want me to continue with my lesson today, and if you guys have learned anything so far, let's get me to 15,000 likes. I'm going to take a little sip of coffee. So I'm going to take a tiny baby sip of coffee so that my throat isn't all harsh. And I will come back in 10 seconds. Oh my God. So it's getting very intuitive. And all this stuff is getting to the point where I'm going to be able to explain it like this. At one point, somebody will see this and be like, what is that? That is the beginnings of a facial structure. I'm going to get to the point where I can explain how to draw it just from a simple box in a line. And it's really cool to see people just have that click moment when they're like, Are you serious? It's that easy? What? Okay, so you guys want to know this little trick? Okay, hold on. Once you have your little box with your hourglass and everything, right? If you want to find the top of your head, it's about double the size of this box. So you double it, make it a little angle if you want, and then draw a circle at the edge. That circle is going to be the same curvature that you choose for this side, essentially creating like a cylinder in between them. So it's a cylinder and the box. Ta-da! The circle matches the box. So make sure that it's matching the same size. This is what you draw in the front, and you complete it with an hourglass for the jaw. Ta-da! It doesn't matter. The pen doesn't matter. I was showing you guys between this one, a hotel one, and I've been switching back and forth between other ones too. Just to show you guys that it doesn't matter what pen it is. The pen is not the trick here. Okay? The pen is not the concept. The pen is not the focus here. You can be doing it with pencil, you can be doing this with pen, you can be doing this with a marker. All this stuff is just, I prefer pen because it's quicker. And for teaching material, I can't spend my time drawing lines and then outlining shit. Even though it would look kind of cool if I was like, oh, look at me, there's a box, and then you draw a line, and then you do, and then I do all this, right? And then I show you guys how that would be detailed. I guess it has its purpose. But understanding the actual features and where they go is number one. You guys can learn that by the end of today. Choosing how you make variations of this is a different story, you know? You can make variations of this in any shape or form. But how do you make, let's say, a face that's like, rah, right? A random shape. Let's make this a face by adding a box and a line. Okay, we'll add circles at the edge to touch the edges because that's the top of our head. And this kind of looks like a kingpin looking dude. So he's gonna have his ears. He's gonna have his neck, some flaps. Then this kind of looks like the beginning part of his shirt or tank top. And then right here, this box is gonna be my hourglass. The hourglass is gonna be my nose bridge. So I get to choose what, like if I draw that hourglass with a very high top, right? The nose is gonna be a little longer. If I draw that hourglass mostly on the bottom, it's gonna look a little squinched. So if you draw it right in the middle, it's gonna be a nice balanced nose. Okay, so understanding that gives you another sense of control. The triangle at the bottom of the hourglass is going to give you access to this type of hourglass shape coming directly out of it. Okay, this is going to give you normally this gives you your teeth. Okay, but when you draw it really wide, that's a really big mouth. So you wouldn't use it as your teeth. You could draw a smaller one that's closer for your teeth, but you can use this as your cheek line, which is the muscles that come out of your nose, the side of your nose. These become your cheeks. So you can use that as your cheek line. Perfect. Then you have your teeth in here. You just draw a little line to identify where they are, and then you draw around your teeth. Rah. Just draw around them. Draw whatever style you want. And then here, this top line is your eyebrow line. You can move it up, you can move it down, you can do anything you want with it. And then your eye falls right at the middle of where that hourglass was. That's where your eyeball sits. Now, your eyelid is gonna change the middle of your eyeball, okay? So you have to think of the eyeball instead of thinking of what actual eye, because your eyes change depending on how much eyelid you show. So you're gonna find yourself sometimes trying to put that hourglass right there or right there, and it's gonna change slightly, but it's gonna throw off your drawing. So whenever you're drawing these, draw this, draw like two little dumbbells, like a dumbbell. Just draw like a triangle, okay? Imagine you're balancing like a set of weights. So you do that, and then you draw two curvy lines going over the eye, one thick one, one thin one that intersect. This is gonna give you the look of the eye. So you go eye, you go curvy line, intersecting curvy line. Whatever styling you choose for the inside is gonna give you the style. Whatever type of design elements you choose for your top eyelid is gonna give you a style, right? That's going to be depending on you. What kind of style do you want to create? 2 lines. It's not so hard. Line 1, intersecting line, intersecting line. So now we go up. At the edge of my eyebrows is my temple. That's where that circle normally hits, and that goes and creates a little bit of depth for the head. The top of the head would have my hairline that connects to my ears. And then if I wanted to draw hair from there, it would grow up. So the hair would grow up and then fall down. So if you had just short hair, it would grow up. But if you had long hair, it would grow up and then fall down. Okay? Hair grows up and then falls down, giving you these little tiny rubbles of curvatures, okay? So short hair just grows up, long hair goes up and down, it wraps around your head. Is this a self-insert? Nah. You wanna see what I look like? I look more like this. Or like this. I'm actually quite big. I'm a big dude. Yeah. Here, face cam time. Dun, 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 dun. How you guys doing? This is the face behind the hands. But yeah, let's go back to it so I don't scare you guys off. All right, so no, that's not me. I just wanted to show you guys how you can use this technique inside of any shape. So if you grab any shape at all, it could be a circle, it could be a box, it could be a triangle, whatever shape you want to draw your faces in, draw a box and a stick inside, and you can draw your faces in it. It gives you a nice little mapping area that you can use to be able to draw characters of all shapes and sizes. Essentially, it just simulates a human skull within any element you draw, which is really cool. And when you keep it nice and basic, it keeps it nice and real. So if you keep a nice basic box, no squishing, no squashing, right? And you keep everything even, everything half, you end up with a very even split that gives you a nice generic human skull. If you have any variations of this, let's say that you want a kid, just make this a little smaller. If you want something that has, I don't know, more style or more age, you take that box and instead of using that little teardrop for your chin, you use it for your cheeks. And you can create every age of characters within the range. I just showed you guys. Adults, teenagers, kids, and adults. And grown-ups and old people. All within the range of like 2 seconds. Oh, there's a poll? We have a poll? What? I didn't know we had poses. Oh, shit. Okay, cool. Yeah, there's a poll. Go check it out. Thank you, Lainey. I don't know if you're the one that did that, but that's kind of cool. Thank you. See, I never really know the extent of what I can do with this app. Like most of the time, I'm just sitting here, sitting and drawing, and I'm not really thinking about the actual app settings and all that stuff. To me, it's more like I just need to get the knowledge out. And luckily, I have now signed a contract with a company that's going to help me with all that other stuff. They're going to help me with the marketing. They're going to help me with that. And they're investing in me. So that's kind of cool. Ooh, can you explain? What's the poll? Let's see. The next thing that you guys want me to draw is hair. All right, let's do hair. So if you guys want to learn how to draw hair, we can start with the box as well. The box is going to give you the upper part of the head. So this is going to give us the bottom part of the skull, where our eyes, eyebrows, nose, and your face goes. If we want to give depth, we take the height of this box and we add a circle, depending on how far we want the character to be. Whatever curvature this circle has, let's just call it this one, I'm going to match it on this side as if it was a cylinder just touching the edge of this circle as well. This gives me depth. This gives me the middle of this one, and I can draw my ear. I can match the ear on the other side. By knowing where my ears are, let's simplify this a little bit more. By knowing where my ears go, by drawing those two right there, I can then draw a diadem to touch them from the top. I can also touch them from the front and create myself my hairline. This is a little more complicated than I would like you guys to do though. For you guys, if you just, once you find that basic shape of the box, this upper part right here, that is split into two, and that is your hairline on top that connects to your ear. Okay, so that's your hairline connecting to your ear. So in the box, you have your feature zone, which is this middle part, and then this top part is your hairline and your forehead. Your hair is going to grow from there. Okay, so understanding how to find your hairline is one of the things that is normally hard. So now you have a smaller section that you have to focus on. And it should be relatively easier to be able to find the hairline like that. So once you have that, let's do it from a profile view so you guys see how it looks like from 3/4. From 3/4, you end up closing your shape. And again, this is your hairline. Pretty much the top of the box could be the hairline too, by the way. If you draw the box and you just draw the curvy part, I just noticed that right now. That's the hairline. That could be the hairline. That's actually quite intuitive. Holy shit. We just discovered that. Nice. So now we have an easier way to find the hairline. Once you find your hairline, hair grows up from the hairline, grows up from your head. Right? It grows up. Now, when you have long hair, it doesn't just grow up and go magically up forever, right? It grows up and then falls down because there's wind, there's curvies, there's everything. So it goes up and then falls back down. Each one of these strands, it's normally multiple hairs put together. Okay? Each one of the strands that you draw is technically a bunch of clump of hairs. So you have to give that depth by adding contrast. You can either contrast through line work or you got to contrast through color. So you can identify the other side of the hair. So once you know that, you can go up, down, create clumps, and close them out. Up, down, create a clump, and close it out. And you can draw things like bangs and stuff like that at the front of your head. Drawing this from the front is just gonna go up and then down. A lot of the times, it's not in the order and the way that you think it's gonna be. Okay? Sometimes it's gonna cover the face a little bit more than you think. And it's gonna curve inside, not outside. So you're not gonna see this inside line. But it still has to be represented, because otherwise you're not gonna know where the other one goes. Okay? Hair, in general, the actual act of hair, is kind of like a cone on top of a ball. You're going to drape it around the sphere, and it's going to go around the sphere. This is the general concept of hair, especially when it's long. It grows up, falls down, and it goes around your head. Grows up, then down, then goes around your head. Okay? So that is what's happening with your hair. When you start adding things like wavies and stuff like that, it starts getting a little bit more complicated, but it's the same general concept. Doesn't have to be overly complicated when you're drawing your characters, but you can take this curvature that you did here, match it on this side, and you have yourself a matching curve. Connect them at the end. Don't keep it all even so it doesn't look robotic, and you have yourself nice hair. Okay? So that is going to be the best and easiest way to be able to draw hair. Take your head shape, find your hairline, and then design whatever type of hair you want. Doesn't matter if it's short, long, you have space to play with. Deal? So that is my easiest and bestest tips that I can give you guys for hair. What's the next thing? While I take a sip of coffee. Clothes over a figure. Proportions are easy. I can teach proportions really easy. So, okay. A lot of the times people misunderstand the concept of proportions because a lot of people, like, remember the houses? People that concern themselves about proportions are people in this house. This house is the biggest house of the haters of unnatural proportions. The people that believe heavily in realism and stuff like that are the people that care a lot about proportions. But let's explain what proportions are and how you can play with them so you can get the ideal proportions that you like. The first thing you need to realize is every human body has a rib cage. The rib cage itself can be represented like a little egg. It should taper down from something like this. This rib cage has a bone structure at the top of it and in the back of it that give you the complicated collarbone and back muscles that create your upper body. Okay? This is normally a nightmare to learn how to draw. I'm going to show you guys how to draw it super easy. From there, the width of this opening is normally the width of your neck, which leads to being roughly the same width as your head. If you go down from here, your arms are going to have their elbows matching the bottom of your rib cage. The upper part of your arm is gonna match up until your knuckles. It's gonna match about where your shoulder hits. Your fingers extend beyond that. So basic normal calculation is you double the arm and you add fingers. That's how I do it. Now from there, from my collarbone down, I need to find where my hip bones are. My hip bones are going to be on my spine. So if my shape is an egg, a simple egg, my spine being in the back creates this sort of curvature. A simple egg would give me like a figure 9 type of look up until my hips, which are just two little circles that can be represented with an arrow. If you draw an arrow, draw two circles, you have yourself hip bones. Okay, so that's one easy way to be able to draw the legs. You draw a teardrop. From the front, you go down in a straight line into your foot, and then you draw your back calf muscles after. Why do you do it like that? Because when you're drawing it in other directions, it makes it really easy to be able to draw the leg in any direction you want. That's why I do it like that. Okay, I'm worried about motion and posing more than anything. So whenever I draw my legs, like a teardrop into a straight line, and then I add the muscle after, I can move it in any direction I feel like without feeling like it's gonna be a complicated pose. So that is what I do with my legs. So I draw a little arrow. The top of the arrow right here is gonna be corresponding with how much width you want for your hips. If you want a character that doesn't have much hips, draw the character with a really little arrow. If you want a character with massive hips, like a really pin-up-y girl with a big butt or something, just make that a little bit bigger so that you have a natural curve. Having that a little bit bigger gives you a little bit more width. And the inside of these little circles, leave a little space for your goodies and then just connect them back to where your leg goes. This is how you end up drawing them. So when you draw and you learn how to connect those shapes, and I didn't talk about the collarbone area, that's actually really easy. It's just a compass. Once you draw a compass, you have access to all the connecting points for your body. That compass is magic. It really is. And when you want to rotate it, you move the compass. So now you can rotate your body, your face individually, and it looks really cool. You give so much good information. Thank you. Yeah, well, that's what I do. You put enough goodwill out into the world, some of it comes back to you, you know? Yay! And then a little arrow into two circles, and then I can make really fun poses. So being able to draw characters should not be difficult. The difficult part should be learning how to do that from your mind. Like your imagination should be the catalyst for your success, not your technical skills. Right? Your ability to come up with stories and concepts should be the catalyst for your success, not your technical skills. Your technical skills should be like something that is just so natural that you're not even concerned about it. It should be like, oh, this week's story was awesome. Let's pitch it to Netflix. And then we will send Rod a ticket to the premiere. Do you have a count on how many notebooks you've used? You guys want to count them? Okay, so this is 5 years of sketchbooks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. And within this box, there's about 50 more. I draw a lot. It's I'm obsessive. I obsess over the things that I love. Okay? Milky, yeah. Oh, you guys have not. If you've never met Milky, Milky's my companion. Hello, Milky. Hello, everybody. How are you guys doing? I'm doing really good. Now shut the fuck up and start drawing. God damn it, Rod. Always getting distracted. Just start doing. All right, Milky. All right. Stop. Spoiled milk. Get out of here. Damn it, Milky. Damn it. That's why you can't let him out. Little milk carton went bad when he got his face tattoo. He got an accidental scar on his face, and now he became spoiled milk. Now he's all badass and always demanding. Oh, Milky. One day you'll come back. Oh, but I got a new guy. You guys want to see him? Hi. I don't know what I'm gonna call him yet, but he's so cute. He's so cute. Oh, look at his squishy face. I don't know what I'm gonna call him, but I got a little reference platypus so that I could draw platypuses like little potatoes. So now I can just look up and I can draw a little platypus like a little potato. That's so cute. So having little plushies and stuff like that is incredibly useful if you are a person that likes character designs. Oddly enough, having a lot of characters that are nice and soft and squishy allow you to pose them really easy, and then you can go ahead and draw really fun things with them. I don't really have many plushies anymore, but I used to have a ton of platypuses. I used to like collect them. It was super cute. Potato? Is that what we should call him? Potato? Do you plan a pose ahead of time? No. You guys want to see what I do with poses? Okay, so since I normally do use pencil when I'm actually drawing things that are serious, right? Or have a digital program. So I'll start off by drawing a simple pose in a very similar situational, let's draw a straight pose for now. I'll draw a straight pose and we'll make the person like kneeling down because I ran out of space right here. Okay? Let's say that I have a very generic pose and I need it to be something similar to this. So I would get the very, very generic pose, and if something didn't look quite right, I would then move it based on my knowledge. Let's say that I want it to be tilted more. This looks too flat. I would tilt this compass to one side first, see if that's enough. If that's enough, then I can continue on with my pose. If this leg, for example, is not going in the right place, I just adjust that line that I did before, change the pose a little bit. Maybe this leg is not balanced enough. I just move the angle. I don't like drawing things like action poses or action lines. I'd rather just have the ability to move my character around if needed and know where those things land. Because if I know that, then there's nothing stopping me from changing any pose to anything I want. If I have to restart my drawing every time because I have to draw a new action line, I have to draw a new blah, blah, blah. Like what? Like that would take so much time. So much time, and it's just very, very not good for your speed and your ability to just sit down and do concept work, you know? You can't always sit back and just restart your shit. You have to learn how to adjust so that you can actually draw things without needing to restart everything all the time. Especially when you're doing it as a profession. When you're starting to do it as a profession, it becomes a little bit harder to be able to start over because you don't have the time. It's just a lot of energy and a lot of like resources that go into even giving a couple hours to a client. Much less spend hours and hours and hours restarting a pose. That would be insane. So you have to learn enough anatomy so that you can actually, this kind of looks like he's punching the ground. Some action lines. If I wanted to draw an even cooler action, I can make a ghosting effect. Contrast. A simple contrast will give me depth in my scene, making things that are farther back darker, things that are further in the front lighter, is going to give me contrast. That'll give me the ability to do that. But yeah, posing in itself is about understanding two shapes, an arrow or a ball into two circles and an egg. If you learn that, the extremities can be simple cones. The actual extremities for your arms and stuff like that can be simple. You don't have to draw them with a lot of detail. As a matter of fact, Tiki on Simple is going to keep your shapes looking a lot smoother and a lot more fluid. Then after you have all these general shapes, then going in and adding your anatomy behind it, which is going to take time to learn, is what allows you to be able to draw freely and have a lot of fun still doing it. Okay? When you're not really concerned or you don't have to guess where things go, you can have so much more fun. And a lot of the time when we get like stuck and struggle is because we're just not sure where to go. We don't know how to continue. We don't know what the next step is. I don't know what detail to add. I don't know what thing to add. I don't know. It's mostly confusion, and it's a lot of not understanding, right? Sorry, Amantha, what did you ask? Amantha, I don't know. I'm trying to scroll up to see if you asked something, but I'm not seeing anything. All right. Creation of atom. Oh, you mean like the Adam's apple? The Adam's apple is a little tiny thing in your trachea that's in between your neck muscles. So your neck muscles are right there. And then you have a little bit of the underneath of the chin, right? And then your jaw is actually kind of round. So this actually has a little bit of roundness to it. Between that and your lips and your cheek and stuff like that, you get a bunch of wrinkles and shit like that there. But then you have a little bit of a surface underneath your chin, and then you have the voice box, aka your trachea, that's a little tiny ball that falls right there. So you have your head. If you see this from a front view, you have your ears, your ears are going to tell you the width of your neck. So from there, if you fan it out, you have yourself a wider neck. If you compress it in, you have a smaller neck. Everything connects to the bottom of your ears. Okay? So depending on whatever kind of neck you want, it's going to be based on your ears. Taper it down. Allow yourself to draw through your shape so you can have even the skinniest necks and still have a connection to it. Okay? From there, the bottom of the ear is going to mark the bottom of your nose canal and the bottom of your cheekbones. Everything has a mapping point. Everything has a connecting point. The whole concept of the face is kind of like a connect the dots. Okay? Everything has a mapping point. So if your ears is the neck is the ears, and your body is an egg with a compass, that wasn't very hard to do, was it? That took 2 seconds. So, head, ear, neck is going to come down from there. If you want it skinnier, make it smaller into an egg with a compass. You have yourself a neck, you have yourself the head, which you can start doing your rules of thirds and stuff. And then you have a rib cage and the separation of your arms to be able to draw your arms a little bit better. Okay? Even if you add muscles. So that is something that you guys can learn to do really quickly. And then what you do is you change the proportions of this. So if you want a really big neck, draw a small head. Or if you want the other way, draw a really big head into a little tiny neck. You have access to every shape and size you can possibly wish. You just have to be a little creative. And then just connect 2 circles. Learn how to do this with the cylinder. And all you need to do is draw your head on top. It really is quite simple. It's just normally explained or seen or taught in a way that normally resembles that of like teaching someone how to be a fucking atomic like scientist. Circle for the bottom of your face, circle for the bottom of your or the top of your body, connect it. This would be the middle of your rib cage, and then connect the bottom of the ears to that. You have yourself a whole neck system. Woohoo! Super cool. What shapes would you recommend for? Oh, I would recommend the circle. You guys want to see how easy it is to bend a person? Okay, so let's take into consideration what a body is, right? A body is a mass, a piece of mass, right? And then it has extremities like a starfish. Okay? So if we think the body of something like this, all we have to understand is how these extremities work. I just happen to know that. So the upper body flows from the side to the other side. If we take away the head, it's a really simple, efficient system that goes from side to side. If you want to draw your arm going around, it's just a matter of understanding how to overlap that shape. If you want to draw it down, just draw it and don't let it overlap the body, right? So if you want to draw your body and your arms better, it's just about learning the flow of them going around the upper part of your body. So now that's the upper body. The upper body becomes incredibly simple if you think about it like that. You don't have to ever draw another basic ass pose again. Okay? So now we understand that that's how the body flows. That's why the compass is the next logical step. This gives you pointing arrows. These pointy arrows either give you access to drawing your arm going this way or pointing to different areas. When you move the arrow, the only time you move it is when you have to raise your arm up. That's why a compass has two sides. When you draw your arm going up, you have to just move it up. When you want to bend your arms and stuff like that, the concept it's really generally simple. It's two overlapping shapes. And then you choose how much in what direction that overlapping shape happens, and you have yourself an arm, a leg, or anything like that. If you change the way that those lines overlap, you change the direction of it. So understanding that is how you create things like legs and feet and stuff like that, really simple. Things like fingers and stuff like that are the same thing. Hands, arms, all that stuff comes from just that general concept of overlapping two shapes. My YouTube is just RODGON. If you put RODGON into any engine, you're going to probably get a bunch of shit from me. I'm known actually a lot. Like I got told that I am known a lot around the world. And it's kind of cool to hear that my name is being mentioned in places where I'm not in. A buddy of mine told me that he was talking to some people from Marvel, the actual comics. And they were like, oh, yeah, have you heard of this guy? He just explains this shit really easy. I'm like, oh, no, that's awesome. That's so cool. You know, it's just like when your voice and what you're doing is resonating with people, not even just the people in front of you, that's something lovely. That's something so cool. And since, I don't know, it seems like people like what I do. So I'm going to keep on doing it. See, now I just need like a really big YouTuber. Like I need someone like PewDiePie or some dude like Mr. Beast or something like that to be like, here's a school for you, Rod. We built you a school. I'm like, what? Yes. See, I just need like to like mention them enough so it goes onto their algorithm and be like, oh my God, yes, let's do that. That would be funny. But yeah, I'm not really looking for fame or anything like that. I'm more in anything. I'm just concerned with getting this information out before I die. That's it. I might die in like 20 years. But that's 20 years of knowledge that I can help other people never have to retake and do, you know? Like, this stuff took me so long to learn, so long to master, and I can make it so that people don't have to start from zero. And that to me is worth it. That to me is worth the struggle. That to me is worth the time, the effort. You know, just knowing that some kid out there is going to catch some of these videos and create something absolutely spectacular in the world. You know, someone's going to see these videos and be like, oh, shit, I can do this. And then see it to the full potential. And they're going to do that without paying for art school and without bankrupting themselves. And that's going to be such a pleasurable thing for me. Like, even if I never get credit for anything, absolutely anything. As a matter of fact, I tell you guys often, but the goal for me is for you guys to never need me again, right? But the goal for me as your mentor, for your teacher, is for you guys to not need me anymore. So if I can manage you guys to get to the point where you feel so confident in your art skills that you don't have to ever tune in again. As a matter of fact, if you start being like a person that does like other videos that teach and stuff like that, oh my God, that would make me so happy. I would be so joyful to have like the competition, as you guys might call it. Because that just means that more people get this. Okay? More people get the knowledge. More people get this. When I find it really funny when people message me and telling me like, this other person is teaching your things, Rod. I'm like, yeah, that's the goal. That is the goal. That's the finish line. It's not about keeping the knowledge. It's never gatekeeping knowledge. I don't have to be the one to teach it. I just need it to be taught. so that somebody else doesn't have to struggle at some point. The one thing is, and the one caveat is, if I ever see anyone using my techniques and charging for courses outside of it being me, that might be an issue that I do have. Because a lot of the knowledge that I provide is not meant to be gatekeep behind a pay gap, right? I will have courses that I charge for. I will have stuff like that. But if I ever see anyone like that, I'm just going to post links to my stuff that's free on their pages so that everybody knows that they can just go learn that shit without having to do that. That's just the only caveat that I ever see myself being petty in. You have helped me immensely with confidence improving my art. Yay! Can you draw people hunching with your method? Yeah. So you want to see how easy that is? Check it out. Circle, right? A person hunching is going to have some bent legs. And their arms are going to be hunched over. So they're going to be leaning forward. My arms and my head, my spine leads to my head. Ta-da! You can make them carrying a backpack. You can make them doing a bunch of things if you want. And as you get better, you can add detail, anatomy, change the posing of them. You don't have to complicate things. Yeah, you can draw them incredibly more detailed. Right? And make it like the Hunchback of Notre Dame type of thing. But it starts small. You start small, simple, and then you progress to more detailed and, pushy things later on. A person standing up. No, but I draw people standing up all the time. Like, that's just not something hard. Here, let me show you some more complicated ones so you guys see the structure of what it looks like when I draw them standing up. So this is my SAM method. Simple anatomy mannequin, SAM. And SAM allows me to be able to draw my bodies really quickly without really having to guess much about my poses. It gives me access to volume and depth really easy. And it's just the easiest way that you can do that. I'm so sad I'm trying to draw, but I have a bruise on my finger. Oh no! Do this. Change your fingers. You should be able to draw with other parts other than that. What happens if you break something? How are you going to possibly draw? I can draw with every one of my fingers. I don't even think I need my thumb. Let's see if I can draw without my thumb. It's going to be a little bit trickier. But I think I can do it. Where there's a will, there's a way. And you don't have to necessarily draw the same way you would before. You take advantage of the things that you can do. So if maybe my line work would take a big hit, but I could draw with more shading, right? Maybe my line work would have to be refined over time again, but I still have all the knowledge. So I can still apply that knowledge in every way that I can. So it doesn't have to be, even if I drew with my left hand, it's going to be absolutely horrible because I never even spend time with it. But if I spend time, little by little, I'd still be able to draw really lovely things. Maybe at first, I'd have absolutely no control over it. As you guys can see, I literally have no control over it. As opposed to this, it's like, foo, 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 foo. Right? But it would just take maybe a week or two to be able to get used to doing this. And then you could do that with your feet if you wanted to. You could do that with your mouth. You can do this with everything you wanted. So don't be afraid of hurting yourself. If you train yourself enough, you don't have to worry about any sort of injury. The SAM method is incredibly useful. And one day you guys will have a completed book with it. No left-handed stream. No one needs to see that. No one needs to see that. No, Gabby, no. Anyways, I believe that we are done with today's stream, my friends. Thank you so much for being my friends. Thank you so much for being my students. Thank you so much for being my little test subjects in this little world of teaching that I'm venturing into. If you have any concerns, any extra questions, or you have anything you would like me to teach in the next video, send me a video on Instagram. Send me a little video that asks me to ask you to teach you something. If you do so, I want to change the format to be more of you guys getting involved. So if you send me a video with you asking a question, I will respond to it. How about that? And I'll make a whole video on it, just because of your effort in asking me how to do that. You guys have a lovely day. I have books for sale if you guys are interested in having copies of your own ridiculously filled sketchbooks. I have 3 versions of them. I have 2 art block books. So art block with a K. I saw that somebody just released an art block book, which is kind of cool. I really love the concept of it, but it's a really similar name, but mine's with a K. And there's another one called Raw Art. So I have 2 sketchbook series that I'm going to be releasing. I might move on to this one a little bit more, theme these a little bit like animals and stuff like that, and then keep this one for your raw sketchbooks filled and stuff. And then I have a pinups book. So if you are interested in really sexy ladies and really cute girls and stuff like that, I have an entire book full of pinups. So if you are interested in really cute girls, you should do it. You should buy my book. Let me see if I can find a page where I have a bunch of them. Some more. But in that book has, I believe, thousands. Probably over 1,000 pinups in different levels of rendering, from super finished renders, digital stuff, sketches. There's a bunch of everything. Oh, okay. There's a more generalized example of how I draw my pinups. They normally get accompanied by a really cute animal. Well, thank you guys so much for everything. You guys are the absolute best. I love you all. Take care. See you guys soon. And if you feel like cementing any of this knowledge into stone so that you never forget it, take 15 minutes after this stream, just 15 minutes, to put into consideration or into play anything that you learned today. Anything that you learned today that you feel like you grasped a little bit, make sure to practice it for 15 minutes after I leave. You will thank me in years. You'll thank me way later. You might not even realize it. By doing so, you will have put all that knowledge and put it into that memory bank. If you forget and you think you're gonna do it later, guess what? You're gonna forget it. It's gonna go away. And you're gonna have to relearn and review the thing and re-inspire yourself and all that stuff. So do yourself a favor, take 15 minutes, just 15 minutes, and try to draw something that makes you proud with the knowledge that you learned today. And if you feel like sharing it with the world, send it over on Instagram, tag me over on a story, and I will be more than happy to share it with my 230,000 human beings that follow me. Okay? You guys are awesome. You guys are great. And you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Like I used to say before, I think I'm going to have to say doing it again. Laugh a little, love a little, and guess what? draw a lot. See you guys later. Bye.